Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am so excited to break this topic down for you today because it's something that literally affects all of us, yet it happens completely behind the scenes. We're going to dive into exactly how pharmaceutical companies guarantee that every single dose of medicine you take is perfectly consistent and, most importantly, safe. Because think about it. It's a lot like trying to bake 10,000 identical, highly regulated cakes. You can't just throw some ingredients into a bowl and hope for the best. You need absolute precision. And in the pharma world, that precision is achieved through a really fascinating process called process validation.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The need for process validation. 2. Planning with the validation master plan. 3. The FDA 3-stage life cycle. 4. The 4 qualification stages. 5. 4 types of validation. And finally, 6. Validating the analytical methods. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. The need for process validation.
So, to start us off, here's the formal definition. Process validation is the analysis of data gathered throughout the design and manufacturing of a product to confirm that the process can reliably output products of a determined standard. Basically, we aren't just crossing our fingers and hoping for a good outcome. We're using hard, rigorous data collection to guarantee that varied inputs always lead to a consistent, high-quality output every single time. We obviously can't physically test every single pill before we sell it. There'd be none left for the actual patients. So instead, we validate the process that makes the pill.
When deciding how to handle quality, there's a really logical loop we follow. We have to ask ourselves, is the process output easily verifiable? And if it is it actually cost-effective to check it every single time? If the answer to either of those is a hard no, which honestly is super common in pharmaceutical manufacturing, we absolutely must validate the entire process from top to bottom, or just redesign the whole thing. It's a strict, uncompromising system that ensures quality is built right in, not just tested at the very end.
Moving on to Part 2. Planning and the validation master plan. Before you mix a single active ingredient, you need a master blueprint for your factory and your teams. The industry calls this the Validation Master Plan, or VMP. This document is pretty much the ultimate management tool. It provides the total picture of the validation project, clearly assigns responsibility, and really promotes teamwork. But honestly, the most crucial part here? It identifies acceptance criteria before any validation even starts. You literally have to define what success looks like before you turn on your machines. That way, everyone is on the same page, and nobody can just shift the goalposts later to make their data look good. Oh, and it covers all aspects, including equipment qualification.
Okay, so we've got our master plan. But how in the world does a regulatory body like the FDA want us to approach this massive journey without getting totally overwhelmed? Well, instead of treating this like one giant, impossible mountain to climb, they actually break it down for us into a really logical, digestible timeline.
Which brings us to Part 3, the FDA 3-stage life cycle.
This 3-stage life cycle is the gold standard for modern drug manufacturing, and it's wonderfully simple when you break it down. Just like perfecting our cake recipe in a small kitchen, Stage 1 is process design, where we use scale-up data to define how we're going to commercially manufacture the drug. Then, in Stage 2, process qualification, we move into our massive factory and confirm that our small-scale design actually works at a commercial level. And finally, Stage 3, continued process verification. We don't just pack up and walk away. We ensure ongoing assurance during routine production, continuously verifying that the process stays perfectly in control forever.
But wait, hold on a second. We can't jump straight into making medicine in Stage 2 without proving our actual tools and machines are up to the task. How do we know the mixing tanks and capsule fillers actually do what they're supposed to do?
That leads perfectly into Part 4, the 4 qualification stages.
Get ready for the alphabet soup of the pharmaceutical world. But seriously, these 4 sequential stages are just a step-by-step safety net. First up is DQ, Design Qualification, where we simply define the specs and choose the supplier, designing it on paper. Next is IQ, Installation Qualification, where we just verify it was installed and calibrated correctly. Did we plug it in right? Then we have OQ, Operational Qualification. Here, we turn the machine on and ensure it operates perfectly per the specs over a normal range. And finally, PQ, Performance Qualification. We push it to its limits to prove it has consistent performance under routine use. It's pretty much foolproof.
Next up, Part 5. 4 types of validation.
Depending on where a medicine is in its life cycle, we use different strategies. For brand new medicines, we use prospective validation. This is pre-market, done during the development stage, using risk analysis before commercial use.
We figure out the worst-case scenarios ahead of time. On the flip side, we have retrospective validation. This is for products that are already out there in distribution. Instead of starting from scratch, we look backwards, basing our validation on historical production data from 10 to 30 consecutive batches to mathematically prove it's been running consistently the whole time.
Then there's the third type, concurrent validation. This one is carried out during routine production, usually for urgent public health needs or infrequent manufacturing. If there's a sudden outbreak and we need a drug yesterday, we can run validation simultaneously with production, but each and every batch is extensively tested before release. It's definitely riskier, but it gets life-saving medicine to the public faster while still proving the process works.
And the fourth type is revalidation. Think back to our cake analogy. If we buy a brand new industrial oven or change our flour supplier, we can't just assume the cake will taste the same, right? We have to do a repetition of the validation process. This is triggered by significant changes like new equipment, modified formulas, or different raw material suppliers. We have to prove those changes didn't secretly mess up the final product.
Okay, so we've got beautifully validated manufacturing lines and perfectly qualified machines. We're good, right? Well, how do we actually know our tests are right? Here's the crazy twist in the pharma world. All of that validation is completely useless if the scientific laboratory tests you use to check the final product are flawed.
So let's look at Part 6, validating the analytical methods. Driven by strict regulatory bodies like ICH and USP, we have to ensure our lab tools are actually telling us the truth. We test our lab methods against a few key parameters. There's specificity, which is the ability to measure the analyte despite interfering components, meaning our test isn't fooled by other ingredients. We check precision, which measures the degree of scatter, like repeatability and reproducibility. We also look at accuracy, which is the closeness of agreement to the true value. And we check the LOD, or limit of detection, to find the absolute lowest amount detectable by our instruments. Validating all of this proves our lab data is rock solid.
So if every single process, every machine, and every laboratory test must be rigorously validated to ensure safety, at what point in the life cycle can a pharmaceutical manufacturer ever truly say they are finished? The reality is, they never are. Ensuring quality is a continuous, dynamic loop that never ends, which kind of leaves you wondering, as manufacturing gets even more incredibly complex, what new AI and automation technologies will emerge to handle this eternal cycle of validation? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope you enjoyed it and that it all makes a bit more sense now.